Last few that have joined us. I've just done a quick poll before we kick off, just to discover where everyone's at on their current website journey. So we're looking at 60-40 at the moment. So 60% are looking at developing their very first business website, and then 40% are looking at redeveloping their current offerings. So exciting on both accounts. So welcome to building a business website and the lessons that could be learned from A Knight's Tale. So a little bit about me to kick us off. So my name is Victoria and I'm the marketing manager at Vincent's. I have 7 years experience in professional services marketing. I come from a journalism background as well as marketing, so a little bit of an unconventional pathway there. I enjoy the written word immensely. Telling stories is my absolute passion. There is raw human emotion hiding behind everything in business, I think so, and you just have to find it and reveal that magic, particularly when you're looking at websites. I'm a big fan of the movie A Knight's Tale. The relevance will quickly become apparent, and for those that aren't fans, I apologise in advance. Also, rest in peace, Heath Ledger, gone but not forgotten. My contact details are as follows. Feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn too. I'm always happy to discuss anything website or marketing in general. So today we're going to go into battle together. Excuse the puns. So website design can be extremely complicated. It's imperative that you plan your attack very carefully. If you are going to be your company's champion website fighter, I will take you through 5 battle tactics that will help you go a long way to achieve a satisfying victory, if you will, otherwise known in marketing circles as a go live date for your website. But if you take one thing away from today, I would be immensely happy if you went away knowing that the attack is never truly over and your website is never complete, because a successful website is a fluid beast. It's ever changing and it's ever evolving. So preparing for battle, these are the tactics that I will take you through. Tactic 1, important that you know your end game. So I'll take you through the purpose that you need your website to have and how that needs to be front of mind before you start your project. And I'll go through company mission statements and USPs, what they are and why they're so vital to a website project. Tactic 2, know your competition. So we'll look at sniffing out your competitors, industry trailblazers out there that are doing amazing things and how you can leverage off that. And we'll look at SEO leaders and how you can ramp up your SEO to your advantage. Tactic 3, we'll look at weaponry. So in website terms, that means content management systems or CMS programs. So what your website will actually be contained in and how you can use that ongoing. Tactic 4, know your squires. So again, translating into website terms, they're your website developers, so your support there to get that project across the line. So we'll look at different avenues with that. And then finally, tactic 5, know your battlefield. So in terms of websites, that is your site architecture, extremely important. So there are 5 areas of attack that we'll look at today. So tactic 1, know your end game. Very, very important. So why would you be building your business website? Every small business website is different because every business is on a unique mission. Before you dive into the process, whether that be starting your first business website or redeveloping an existing one, and as I had a look, we've got about 60-40 on that, so a little bit of both. So lots of competing motivations there. Whatever that may be, you need to decide on what role this website or redeveloped website is going to play in your company's future. It may be that it's fairly static in the future, i.e. after your initial content is set up on the service lines, there are not blogs or frequent changes made to the homepage, and the website may simply exist to provide more information to potential clients about your services and credentials if they check you out online. Personally, I believe if your website only plays this sort of a passive role, then you are missing out on a lot of opportunities to help grow your business. Another role your website could play could be to sell products and services directly online, like a shopping cart, for example. Hopefully, though, in addition to the first 2, your end game is to use your website as a virtual marketing platform to ease your business development load out there. It could provide articles or information you've written to provide useful information to clients and potentials out there and referrers. You may even choose to start a blog to interest and engage potential customers as part of your overall social media strategy, with automation options in place and calls to action to take you up on offers that are on the website. The possibilities are endless with this option, and it would definitely be, getting the most out of spending time on and investing in a new website. So mission statements, USPs, and values, the Holy Trinity. So the most important thing you must do is convey right from the get-go on your homepage what your company does. Now, this may seem obvious to you, but will it seem that way to your competitors? That's the question. Don't make visitors to your website trawl around for precious minutes to discover if your company can do what they actually need doing. Users leave websites when they don't get what they expect or what they want. So really drill down into what your company does. Do you have a clear mission statement? What's your point of difference in the market? What are the values that guide you on your journey? Your values should be more than just words to you. They should help you make the many choices that you face in your business each day and should definitely be visible on this website. Thinking about how these core values, selling proposition, and mission statement can be incorporated into your website design, whether that be through imagery, words, tools, resources, the way you showcase your products and services, they will all go a long way to ensuring your website acts as an effective silent marketer, and that visits to your site eventually can convert into clients, champions, supporters, business partners, or even employees one day. So just taking you through when we redeveloped the Vincent's website, how we incorporated the Holy Trinity into the homepage. So right from the get-go on that homepage, you're looking at our company mission statement and USP there. So that's clearly visible when they first arrive on the page. So there's no confusion over what we're really looking to get from clients and what's passionate for us. Then underneath, you've got what our company does clearly through our specialties. Here is just directly under where the specialties were, and this is where we're trying to engage the audience on a personal level with storytelling and appealing to human emotion. So we've got we're engaging them with questions that we're asking, which is just a different way of advertising our service lines. And then again down here we've got a link to what our values and mission are a second time on the homepage. So just making it as easy as possible, and so they're not spending copious amounts of time getting to what they need, because as I said earlier, that could mean that they drop off before finding what they need and we lose the business. So second tactic, know your competition. So they're your competitors out there and your industry trailblazers. So let's go through that one. So everyone knows to keep your friends close and your enemies closer. It doesn't matter what industry you're in, you should keep track of your main competitors. It's a sound business decision. Success is often determined by a company's ability to respond to changing marketing conditions. So understanding what your competitors' strengths and weaknesses there is, it's similar if you were going into battle. It's necessary to improving your competitive edge and coming out on top at the end of the day. We all compare and we all have our favourite competitors out there in our respective business niches that we'd like to get that one up on. So have a think about who might currently be capturing your attention out there in the market. Often this attention is captured through a really ramped up social media presence, and that points the user, like you, back to the company's website a lot, as well as video marketing and thought leadership. So they're really three big ones that I think would be differentiating people that are doing well as to people that are maybe standing a little bit more static. Study the websites and look at what they're doing that might be out of the ordinary. Are they storytelling? Big fan of storytelling. Couldn't sell it enough. Are they offering a lot of value add material that might be getting them that edge over what you're currently doing online? Is their contact with their audiences constant? Worst thing in the world would be for you to spend that time building up a great website and then to just drop off on that contact off the back of it. So just getting your name out there front and center constantly is so important. So take note of the aspects of each site that you're looking at that appeals to you, as well as ones that don't. and discuss with your developer, or as I refer to them as squires, but more on that later, to determine how those findings could be incorporated into your own website development without losing what makes your business unique. So, SEO. For those that don't know, search engine optimization is the process of getting traffic from search results on search engines, mainly Google. We all use Google. All major search engines, though, have primary search results where websites and other content like videos and local listings are all shown and ranked based on what the search engine deems most relevant to the user. So just as important as looking at competitors that inspire you is examining the cold hard SEO facts, if you will, on who is leading up there in your field on Google. So you can have paid results. In Google, these appear up the top of the search results with a little ad icon next to them. So there's your paid results with the ad next to them. Or what's called your organic results. And these are the guys with the green tick that follow the ad results. It all depends on the user, I guess, but as a searcher myself, my eyes tend to actually go straight to the organic results. And I think that's because I know that those have a little bit more credence to them and are more likely to be ranked due to the relevance of the content and not necessarily the price that they've paid to be at the top of that list. So I therefore spend more time getting good SEO in place on our website rather than paying for Google AdWords, but both are very useful tactics to help you stay front and center of search results out there. So tracking competitors' search rankings, content, social mentions, emails, and anything else they do out there to help boost their business is actually not as creepy as it sounds. It's extremely important to remain competitive. Everyone does it. Some great and free tools exist out there, as well as a lot you do have to pay for those that are really keen to embrace their inner spy and use that intel to help boost their website project. So 2 free ones that are awesome. Google Keyword Planner. This is without doubt the most well-known keyword planner. Whoops, sorry guys. Without doubt the most well-known keyword research tool. It's provided by Google for AdWords, as we saw on the previous slide, where you can pay for a keyword in search engines to place your website at the top of the search results. The keyword planner, pretty straightforward. You can search by individual terms, group by keyword topic, set filters. But the really nifty thing is you can also enter in a competitor's URL and do a reverse lookup to see what keywords Google thinks relate to their site. So definitely a tool that you should be using at some stage in your website development process and ongoing if you're involved in SEO. Google Alerts. What a gem. Have you ever wondered where and how your competitors might be getting exposure on the web, but you don't have the time to do search upon search upon search every morning? Want to know more? If you haven't already, do yourself a favor and sign up for Google Alerts. They allow you to actually monitor any phrase or keyword that you want, and it's picked up on the web by Google, and then every day you can choose when it comes, I believe. It emails straight to your inbox. So pretty easy, work's done for you and it's free. It's a great way of monitoring your competitor's brand or target keywords that you might be interested in ranking for, or just seeing what's buzzing out there. If you're wanting fresh up-to-date content on a certain topic for curation purposes maybe. So tactic 3, know your weaponry. Very, very essential. So in these terms, our weaponry would be our content management system. So they're the guts and the engine room of the website that will make it all tick in the background. When choosing a back end for your website, you really need to consider the range of content management systems that are out there and work with your developers or your squires to select one that will be the easiest for your business to be able to maintain ongoing. So post-launch, without incurring a lot of fees, you don't want to be going back to your developer each time you need something changed. You want it really to be user-friendly to be able to be maintained in-house ongoing. So again, if there's one thing that I empower you to take away from today, even when you're thinking about this as well, this all goes into thinking of your website as an ongoing project and a fluid marketing tool. It should always need to be updated, and it should always be moving, and something that therefore needs good weaponry with the ability to evolve as your business does. So let's check out the weaponry that we've got on offer out of what is a big selection, but I've just narrowed it down to some of the key players that you might be choosing from. So the wish list. Unless you want to outsource all of your website changes on an ongoing basis, which can be quite costly, as I said, the ideal CMS system for a business would be one that really has the ability to set up user permissions from the get-go, have security groups in place for editing, approval, and publishing rights, so it's all just nice and seamless in the background. This way, the content can easily be kept current and pertinent to different business needs. So you can have a few champions that you can give permissions across a business. Obviously, depends on the size of your business as well. You will also need a website, ideally, to be malleable, meaning that you can add in lots of customizations if you need to. But I'll explain a little bit more on why that isn't such a good idea soon. As well as incorporating API codes. So that's the ability for a website to talk to other software programs that are similar to plugins and customizations, all that jargon, basically getting things to read to each other without needing to bring in an expert to do lots and lots of coding. So we'll have a look at Wix and Squarespace, two of our weaponry options. Platforms like Wix and Squarespace can be a good fit for companies that are looking to stay relatively small in size and to only use a few plugins and codes and geeky things. So they're relatively easy to pick up. The templates that are there are a small amount of them, but they're of high quality. However, customizing them can be difficult and somewhat limited. There's also related difficulty with getting codes to read to other programs as well. There's just not quite as much freedom with it. The other problem is if you do outgrow them, transferring all of your site content to a new host can also prove to be quite difficult. So WordPress, so it's a bigger player. It's an example of a solid CMS platform upon which to build your website empire, if you will, with a vast collection of plugins and themes that are available to users that make future expansion that little bit easier. It's not as easy initially to pick up as Wix and Squarespace due to it having a lot more features, but definitely worth the learning investment. And by no means are we looking, back in the Dreamweaver days where everything was coded. I mean, things are just, the interfaces and the back end are a lot more user-friendly now. Just the size of WordPress to learn is a little bit more than Wix and Squarespace, but worth it. Great setup for user permissions and security settings, so you can have all that you're wanting there, and different people with different levels of clearance and publishing and editing rights, the whole shebang. It works better with API codes and plugins, and is just a little bit more user friendly for those customizations. But on customizations, be careful of creating too many to existing themes that are in WordPress. So when you're in these programs like Wix, Squarespace, and WordPress, it's kind of like picking themes to PowerPoint slides, but it's themes for your whole website. And I encourage you to spend as much time as possible looking at the ins and outs of all of those themes, because where possible, if you can get one to fit as closely to the template, that is your ideal scenario, because the customizations often can require coding, a little bit of coding to maintain, because they weren't part of the original theme, so therefore are not part of the back end of WordPress in the same way. So sometimes they're not as user-friendly to update in the back end. The other thing is that lots of customizations on top of an existing theme can, not always, but can slow down your site speed somewhat. So where possible, try and get a fit that's as close to what you want first, and then you can add those things on at the end for bells and whistles. Yes, beware the lure of customizations. So tactic 4, know your squires. Now, these have come up a few times, but these are your website developers. Now, once you've got that clear goal in mind, most businesses, unless they have a full-scale marketing team in place, and look, if you do, I'm jealous. Amazing. Props to you. But you'll probably need to outsource at least a portion of the website development to professionals to get the support that you need. I call these professionals squires for the purposes of this theme, and they're more commonly known as website developers or digital agencies. They have a few names because they're creative types. They have different names for things. So access internally what skills your company would benefit the most from outsourcing and what parts would be able to be covered in-house to keep costs down. For example, you might employ a graphic designer and already have a style guide and visual branding in place that you're not really wanting to change the look of, and you're more wanting this website to just fall in line with that same look, or it could be the other way around. But if you do have a graphic designer for the purposes of this example, you might then need more help with SEO and hosting and CMS training. So then, quotes that you would, discussions that you would have with developers and quotes that would be put to tender would be more along the lines of being heavy on those areas rather than the design, and you would play more of a role in that part of the process and therefore pay less money for that part. So I can't stress enough the importance of shopping around when it comes to website development. Definitely go to market and get a range of quotes to consider. With your local digital agencies, just be aware of the high cost that comes with those. But that being said, consider if it's worth the investment, even though it is a high price, because you usually get a corresponding high quality product, i.e. what you're paying for. Likewise with offshoring, weigh up whether the potential positives, the obvious one being the reduced cost, whether those outweigh the potential negatives. So you've got difficulties with FaceTime and communication. Sometimes there might be some language barriers, and sometimes, due to the lower cost, there is a resultant lower quality product overall without the right guidance. Don't discount the value in face-to-face planning meetings. So they are vital to get you and the developers on the same page. Now, would you achieve the same vision alignment if you were pursuing an offshore option? Just keep that in mind. Whatever portion of the process you decide to outsource, it's vital that a member of your business be in contact at key points throughout the redevelopment. Do not jump off as soon as they start the project planning, because it will just, the scope of it will become longer and longer. And as much as the expertise of the developers lie in website development, they will not have the unique insight into your business that you do. So work with them to create, I guess, that perfect link between your industry know-how and theirs. So the last of our tactics, know your battlefield. So the battlefield for website design is known as information architecture, or IA. It can also be called site architecture. The way different levels of pages are designed and the order that they follow is known as information architecture. Good websites are very well organized and follow very specific IA. They're easy to navigate, they're uncluttered, and above all, they're professional and eye-catching. They draw the reader in. So really work closely with your web developers and key stakeholders in your organization to ensure that the information architecture that you do decide upon is actually going to satisfy all areas of your business and the products that you're pushing, and also all your markets that will be coming to the website. So just be aware of your different demographics and how they might approach looking at a website. For instance, historically with websites, you used to have your newspaper drop down. That might not be the best way to get all people in. They may respond to visuals and call to action questions on the homepage, but you still would get the generation that like that newspaper drop down, and that's comforting to them, and they still want that. So you need to manage those competing demographics. If your IA is too intricate and visitors need to navigate too many pages to get the answer that they want, as I mentioned earlier, they're going to lose interest and leave. So instead, grab their attention, stir their emotions, tell a story, and easily give them what they need. So just quickly looking at our experiences with redeveloping our website. The newspaper style drop down, we still had people that we believed would wouldn't want that taken away. So we've got a mega menu of drop down. So that sort of shows all the specialties drilled down at once. So via a drop down menu, they're able to say everything at once and just go to the option that they want. And so that's for people that really have a good understanding of all the, I guess, the accounting platforms and products, and will go straight to what they want that way. Then you've got your second way of looking at architecture on our website. So you've got our specialties, but they're grouped in business units. So it's a smaller amount of information to digest first, and some people work better that way, drilling down rather than seeing it all at once. And then you've got your third generation. They're people that might be visiting a website that are not exactly sure what it is that they're after, but they're going through some sort of distress, or they've got a pain point, and often seeing call to action questions that might actually be taking you to the same place that a drop down menu is, but it's getting you there by getting you thinking and knowing pain points. So that's tactic 3. So we've incorporated all 3 on our website to make sure that we're not leaving anyone out, I guess. So lots of different ways of looking at it. And then you've got to make sure that once they've visited some of those pages, that it's very easy to get back. That can often be painful if it's hard to get back to what you were looking at before or the main menu. So just we've got some sub menus down the side, very common way of doing things, but works for what we needed. So just to keep that in mind as well. And I haven't touched too much on it today. Well, haven't touched on it at all yet, but also to keep in mind your mobile views. So you've got your tablet views and your mobile responsive views. That's all something that you need to discuss with your website developer as well. Very important given the amount of people that are looking on mobiles versus desktops these days. So taking you back to that one thing, Before I finish up, I just wanted to really ram that in because it couldn't be more important in my eyes. Once your website does go live, take that time to absolutely enjoy all that you've accomplished, but remember that the journey is far from over. There's certainly no doubt that your business will have made a significant and rewarding first step. I remember how rewarding it felt for us when we had redeveloped, because it is such a mammoth project to undertake. And for that, you should be well pleased at all the efforts that have been gone to. But a company's website should never really be complete. As mentioned before, you need to think of it as a fluid marketing machine, and the key to that continued success is to constantly add or constantly enhance those elements that are based on your website and the content within it. It's got to be new, it's got to be fresh, it's got to be engaging. Stay on top of developments in SEO. Stay on top of web applications that can be added into anything that can add value to your website is just amazing, and keep on top of those mobile design changes and responsivity. Above all, always remember to keep adapting your website offerings, and for that matter, all of your business offerings, to meet the changing market needs of your clients. Tell a story and tell it well, and keep engaging them. Remember that one thing. Questions, anyone? Just keep the poll open a little bit longer, and if anyone wants to ask some questions, feel free. Also feel free to reach out to me afterwards. Can email events@vincents.com.au, and I can get back to you through there, or feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn if you've got any questions that you'd rather spend some more time discussing. So I got a question from Kathy. Hope you don't mind me sharing. So, suburban tax accountants, how do we become engaging? What I would do, Kathy, is I'd go back and I'd have a look at what other suburban tax accountants are doing out there in your space. I'd get on Google. I would set up a Google AdWords account, and I'd do some SEO research on those keywords for those areas to see what value they're bringing. I would probably really ramp up on the locality of it, and that you're nice and close. You don't have to come into the city, I guess. Whereas we have that as an attractive feature for our firm. I think putting emphasis on the locality and that maybe as a small business you understand small business. Phrases like that would really go down well. I'd be happy to have a chat with you if you wanted to discuss that further. Got a question from Rob. Does hosting location impact tax jurisdiction if we run an e-commerce site? I would possibly need to look into that, Rob, but I can get back to you. I would think it possibly would, but I would need to do some more research on that. Sorry. Anyone else got some questions? No? Well, look, if you do think of anything, please reach out to me. It's been a pleasure chatting to you. Thanks for bearing with the puns and the Knight's Tale references. I like to make things fun. So I hope you have a great afternoon, and reach out to Vincent's again soon. We'll have a webinar in a couple of weeks. It'll be an insolvency topic. So talk to you soon. See you later.